In this video, I'm going to help you decide if it's worth buying a budget UV printer from China. First, let's talk about what a UV printer is. A UV printer takes a special kind of ink that cures when exposed to ultraviolet light. The ink can be applied to surfaces that a regular inkjet printer cannot, such as wood, plastic, leather, and metal. In a typical job, the printer places a layer of white ink either above or below colored ink, depending on what you're trying to achieve. Our printer has multiple inks, as well as a special gloss that can be applied. This is a common model of UV printer from China, using parts from a high-end Epson printer modified with ultraviolet LEDs, a movable tray, and large reservoirs of ink. It arrived to us in a large shipping crate weighing about 172 pounds. The printer was packaged with the mechanism for printing on bottles. It also came with syringes, cleaning supplies, and some tape to get started. In addition, software requiring a USB dongle to use the printer. The ink was shipped separately and took another week or two to arrive. We did, however, purchase some ink from another seller that arrived more quickly. Setup was not for the faint of heart. Ink had to be poured into bottles. Each bottle holds about 8 ounces of ink. Doing some research, it looks like the manufacturer modified the UX Plastic Lab chemical reagent bottles with a tube in each. The bottle for the white ink contains additional tubes to allow circulation of the ink while the printer is switched on. Another bottle exists for waste ink used when cleaning the printer head. Ink had to be drawn through each tube in the cartridge. Lots of shop towels were carefully placed to make sure ink didn't get onto anything it shouldn't have. The printer was set up to have 4 printer heads dedicated to white ink. We modified that to use 2 for gloss. Coolant was also added to the printer. Let's talk about the software installation. First, we installed the printer driver for the Epson Photo 2000. That was a big giveaway on which printer parts were used. Now, to install the AcroRIP Pro software. Reading along, it says, "Before installing the software, first remove the antivirus software." Can we say big red flag? Microsoft Windows kindly informed us that the software contained 4 Trojan signatures. I asked the seller about it. The seller's reply was, "Just add it to trust. Close all the antivirus software." No, I'm not opening my computer to Trojans. The seller went on to say, "Our software is safe. We sell so many printers and never customer contact us for safe problem. Hope you can believe this." So I asked, "Is this cracked software?" Seller replied, "This is cracked version. Full version is very expensive. We sell dongle. Dongle is key for software. I really don't feel comfortable running cracked software." Seller says, "How can you trust us? All customers purchase this printer and use our cracked AcroRIP." I tried to find a legitimate copy of this software, so searched around to find who's selling it. I contacted another seller with a different looking dongle that had a serial number on it. I asked if this was the full version and if I can have assurances that it's a legitimate license. The new seller says, "It's a full version. We will send you the dongle. It is free forever." Not satisfied, I ask, if I download legit AcroRIP software, will it work with the dongle? The new seller says, "Yes, you need to download the software and then insert USB dongle into the computer." Okay, the dongle arrives in the mail a week later. I download the software and try to install it. Windows informs me it contains Trojans. So I contact the new seller. They inform me to turn off the antivirus software. We can help you install. It can be used. I gave up and used a dedicated laptop with no internet access to test the software. Now I've got ink in the printer, software installed. I followed instructions to print a guide and perform some test prints. Let's say that I was very disappointed with the quality, but with some experiments, managed to get some acceptable prints. The printer can't handle more than a couple millimeter variance on the surface. Don't use too much black ink, and expect a lot of trial and error. Oh, and the ink? It stinks. Now, what about maintenance? I asked the seller. Seller says, if you do not print for more than 3 days, you need to clean the ink bag, ink tube, nozzle, waste ink pump. If the ink solidifies, the nozzle will be blocked. The ink is UV cured, so avoid direct sunlight. Wow. Okay, so what it comes down to is that I have to run the printer at least once every 2 to 3 days. When I go on vacation, I will have to thoroughly flush the tubes and particularly the print head to stop it from clogging. So, let's summarize. A good point? The printer prints on practically any surface, particularly acrylic. So there's some really cool stuff you can do with it. The resulting colors are very vivid, and texture prints can be accomplished, albeit very involved. Bad points are, the printer is big and heavy. Mine is currently sitting on the floor. Only one piece of software seems to work with it, and I can't find any seller who I trust to buy it from. The software that comes with the printer is cracked. The quality of prints requires some trial and error, and because of the type of ink, it requires maintenance 3 times a week. Cleaning is messy. The ink, it stinks. I know I've mentioned it, but it really stinks. And so does the whole room that the printer's in. So here's my conclusion. If you're looking for a UV printer for occasional use, the overhead to keep the ink from clogging is too much. If you're looking for a professional UV printer that gives you good results all the time, invest in a more expensive printer. Maybe invest your money somewhere else.